Good morning. My name is Tom. I come to you from Northern Maine. Welcome to my trapping shed today. As you can see, I've got a guest. Why don't you get yourself a cup of coffee? And I'll tell you about my guest here today. This right here is the bear that you want to say, you know, when you talk about the bear, you want to talk about Jeremiah Johnson and the 50 caliber Hawkins. This here, it was, I think the guy's name was Jack, was found dead on a snowbank holding a single shot 50 caliber Hawkins in the Jeremiah Johnson movie, and that's probably all I gotta say there. But this right here is the 50 caliber Hawkins that killed the bear that killed me. Is how that goes. I always thought that was pretty good. So when I say here's the bear, it's not quite going back with it. This is the bear that killed my grandfather, but darn near it. My great-great-grandfather shot this. He shot this approximately 70 years ago, maybe even closer to 80 years ago. And the funny story behind this is that my grandfather and my Uncle Herbert was about, I think, about 10 years old. And to my knowledge, this is a true story. But you never know, you know. It was something that was passed down over the years. But I want to tell it anyways. I believe it was a true story. Anyways, my great-grandfather, yeah, got that wrong, great-great. My great-grandfather shot this bear, and he shot it with a .30-30, which isn't a really good bear rifle anyways, but he only grazed it. He grazed it across the top of the head and knocked the bear out cold. Well, he was in a hurry because he had a girl down in town of Rangeley, that he was kind of sweet on. So they grabbed the bear, they threw it in the car, and back then that was when he was driving the cars with the suicide doors on them that opened the other way than they do nowadays. So they threw the bear in there, and my grandfather and Uncle Herbert climbed in on top of the bear, sitting in the seat with their feet down on the bear. So they drove to town so that my great-grandfather could show the bear to the woman that he was quite sweet on in downtown Rangeley. So they got into town, he opens up the door, and the bear gets a good fresh air, and he lifts his head and he growls. Roar! The story goes, you never seen two boys scramble out the other door so fast in your life. But anyways, then they had to take care of the bear after that. But all it did was the 30-30 bullet is a deer bullet. It's not a bear bullet. So like I said, I imagine he was deer hunting and got lucky and see a bear. But this is my great-grandfather's very first bear. And he was a taxidermy in the town of Rangeley, Maine. Back, it would be the turn of the century. You know, not this last one, the one before it. Because my grandfather, when he passed away, he was 82 years old. And this bear was shot when he was about 10 years old, from as far as I know anyways. But that's the story behind this bear. And it was passed down to me this week, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. I've grown up with this bear. It was hanging in my great-grandfather's cabin in Rangeley, Maine when I was a young boy. And then it stayed at my grandfather's house for many years. They, to my knowledge, never had it hanging on the wall or had it down on the floor. It was kind of just put up in storage. But the thing is, for being as old as it is, it's in really good shape. The hide is nice. It's full. Even its head and eyes and everything. It's just a great piece to have passed down to me. And my father's had it hanging in his house for quite a few years. So he asked me the other day if I had a place for it, and I told him I would make a place for it. So for right now, he's right here on top of this desk that I've built down here in the shop so that I could share it with you guys. But anyways, about everything in my life is named George. So just for the grandkids, I was playing jokes on them when they were growing up. Everything was called George. And finally, after a few years, they figured out that Papa names everything George. So maybe this bear will be George. We'll see. We'll see when we get the grandkids over here. So, good afternoon. My name is Tom. This is one of those plugs for my Patreon channel. If you haven't checked it out yet, I will put a link above my hat. I'll put a banner up there for you. I also have a link to it in the description. And also on my About page, you will find a link there to the Patreon page. Come on over, check us out. I do have some stuff in there that is open to the public so that you can test it out, come check it out, sample it, see what the Patreon page is all about. And I look forward to seeing you over there. And thank you very much for helping to support the East Grand Woodsman channel by subscribing to my Patreon page. And you have a great day. But what a great week it has been. We're down in the trapping shop. And any of you that's been following my channel here for the last few weeks, at least I'd say the last few weeks, this all started back in the summertime when I started building the outpost. Just one thing led to another. And before I knew it, I was enrolled in a trapping school in order to get my trapping license here in the state of Maine. Long story short, I got the license. So now we've been building up trapping supplies behind me. And my YouTube family has just been taking care of me so much this week that I cannot thank you guys enough. Between the Patreon channel and the donations of traps and different gear for this trapping, I'm calling this the trap line that my YouTube family has built. And we're going to have, I would say, at least 3 trap lines. Not all at the same time, because you got muskrat, then you got beaver, different things like that. And I have 3 different swamps that I can do all this in. So I'm going to set up, the main one is going to be over at the new cabin. So you guys are going to see that thing blossom here over the next couple of years. We've got a lot that we can do over there. Today it's raining, that's why I'm back here in the shop. Got up this morning, I was headed over there to getting ready for the doors, the windows, and putting on the roof. But look, I don't watch the weather and I don't watch the news, so I looked out the window this morning and it was pouring rain. So I guess my mother was wrong. I really do melt when I get rained on. But anyways, getting back to how and I mean it, we're gonna name this the trap line that the YouTube family has put together, because I have had coyote traps donated to me. I have had beaver traps donated, muskrat traps donated. I cannot thank you guys enough. This stuff is expensive, and getting started in this is expensive. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And for the rest of you, I've had several people go over and see me on the Patreon channel. If you want to go check out the Patreon channel, right over top of my head, I'll put a banner up with a link to it. I also have a link to it in the descriptions of this video down below, and also in my About page. If you want to go check that out, the Patreon channel is doing great, and thank you guys for helping out in that side of YouTube for me, because this is the only way that I'm going to be able to keep producing this stuff, because it's time consuming. It's time consuming, it's money consuming, it's everything you can imagine as far as going into making these videos. So thank you for helping me out in that department as well. So I'm really looking forward to the outpost, turning that into what, we've got tree stands going up over there for bear hunting and deer hunting. And now the trapping. I'll be setting some beaver traps over there this winter for the beaver. So you guys that have gotten in on the ground floor of this are going to see that cabin blossom over the next couple of years. So, and that's what it takes. It doesn't all happen overnight. The cabin dream. Unless you go into a cabin and got lots of money to throw at it, so you can have a turnkey cabin, that means you walk in, you do nothing except light a match and build a fire in the stove. This is an ongoing process, and it's a dream. And it's a dream come true for me. Here we are on the outpost, putting that together now. So little by little, you're going to see all of this come together. And also the bear trapping will take place out there, as well as up at the Rustic log cabin. But I'm hoping this outpost will make the better of the two places for bear trapping and bear hunting, just because of its location. And we'll see what happens. And the same thing with the trapping. We've got coyote season coming in December, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be in and around my cabin. I'm going to try to thin down the coyote population leading into deep winter up there, the deep snow, and maybe I can help save some of the deer. To my knowledge, and to what we counted, there was at least 14 deer taken down over the winter time around my cabin and out on the lake by the coyotes. So I want to thin those numbers down. Like I was saying earlier in a video a few weeks ago, I had a camera out, it had been out for several months, and there was 582 pictures on it. More than half of them was coyote pictures. And I've still got a game camera up there that has been out since last November, 1st of November. Maybe it was even in October. But anyways, that camera has been out in the woods since then. I've checked it a couple of times as far as battery life and all that, so it's got plenty of battery life, and it's been out there almost a year now taking pictures. So I'm looking forward to getting that one in here and seeing what's going on, 12 months a year, not just the month of November. So let's see what happens when we get that camera back here, where I can check on it and see what's in there. But anyways, getting back to the cabin dream, it doesn't happen all at once. If you're going down this road, don't get discouraged. Just keep picking away at it, picking away at it. The Rustic log cabin, I have been on the process of bringing that together for over 10 years now, between getting the cabin, getting the outbuildings and all of that, as well as the hunting and fishing in the area. And it'll be the same thing out here on the outpost. So, but I wanted you to meet George. I wanted you to see the black bear that my grandfather first took when he was a young man. And this bear and the stories from my great-grandfather are some of the reasons that I do what I do today. Same thing with, I come from I'm maybe the fourth generation that I can count for in my family as far as hunter and fishermen and all of that. Not all of them were trappers, but my great-grandfather was, and he mainly trapped the black bear. So I'll see you next week, and you have a great week.